I probably smoked more Parmesan cheese than anyone.
Thank you, Hunter. We appreciate that. He's admitted to something anyway. And is there a law against smoking Parmesan cheese? Could you be indicted for that?
If it were Donald Trump, he could.
Yeah, Donald Trump could be indicted for smoking Parmesan cheese, not Hunter Biden. But that's the interview he did about the whole laptop. Remember when he said he didn't really know if the laptop was his or not? Might be, might not, right? He has no clue as to whether or not that.
No, look, I really don't know. And the fact of the matter is, it's a red herring. It is absolutely red herring. But I am absolutely, I think, within my rights to question anything that comes from the desk of Rudy Giuliani. And so I don't know is the answer.
Because I was so stoned when I turned it in that I have no idea if it's my laptop. Certainly looks like him. Hey, we got Mike Viola on the phone right now. Mike is a political strategist, commentator for the Young Voices as well. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. You know, I watched I watched Fox last night, and I saw the reporting that they did on. They went back. They really did some pretty good investigative work. And the odd thing is, all of this stuff's been available in the public for the most part. Anybody could have gone and done this. I hadn't seen anybody do it yet, and found all of these pictures and videos of Hunter Biden repeatedly traveling on Air Force Two with his dad when he was vice president in all of these countries that coincidentally he got contracts with.
Yeah, it's really something. And I think I remember during the Trump administration, a lot of people complained that his kids were maybe a little too close to the action, especially Ivanka and Jared. I don't think that's an unfounded complaint, but the obvious discrepancy in how we treated Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, especially since the impropriety was so much worse with Joe Biden in this particular case, is really telling.
Well, I mean, and here's the difference. The Trump brand was hotels or golf courses. At least you knew what the Trump family was selling. So if you then went back to all those countries, if indeed, Jared or Ivanka flew with him and a Trump hotel popped up in Jakarta where they just visited, maybe you could say, well, that's a conflict of interest. They shouldn't have been over there doing business when they were there. In this case, the only business of the Bidens was selling political access to Joe Biden, and nobody on the left wants to apparently admit that or take a hard look at it, at least.
Right, exactly. I think at least with the Trump case, say what you want about Jared Kushner, but he's also responsible for some of the biggest improvements in Middle East relations in recent history, right?
Yes.
Hunter Biden wasn't doing any of that. He was hawking consulting gigs, which, again, we can't really seem to find anything that this was anything other than real or imagined access to Joe Biden, which sounds like a ripoff, if you ask me anyway. But, this was pure play-to-play. We saw that he was, like you said, he was accompanying his father to Belgium, to Spain, to Serbia. Potentially, this is kind of how he got involved with the Ukrainian world, which his business partners later distanced themselves from him because of the obvious appearance of impropriety. So it's really a shame, and it's clear that even then the people around him knew this didn't look good.
Yeah, 13 countries was that the total they found?
That's at least.
13 countries, which I'm sure the oversight committees was probably already aware of all of them. But I mean, the banking records, the LLCs that they set up as basically shell companies. Where do you see this heading? Where do you hope this heads? Because I've learned over the years, like Charlie Brown, to not get my hopes up that Lucy's not going to pull the football again. But I see this heading in a direction where the Oversight Committee has come up with some pretty firm evidence here.
Yeah, I agree. This might obviously this will be an election issue. I do wonder if maybe going beyond the political route of, people incorporating this, that Joe Biden let his son get away with this for all these years, to be totally honest, I don't know if charges are warranted. I don't know if that would be great for the country. But I think everybody should see that we should expect better of our elected officials. And Joe Biden does not merit a second term. This is just icing on the cake. But I really think it should be considered instructive for a lot of people of what you should and should not be doing with government. And perhaps pass laws that indicate what proper procedure in cases like this is. You can't just give freebies to your kids and their business and tie up this sort of personal grift with an office like the presidency or the vice presidency.
Yeah, good point. Mike, where can people go to find out more about your work?
Sure, you can find my profile at young-voices.org, or you can follow me on Twitter at mf_Viola.
All right, Mike, appreciate your time.
Great talking to you.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you. And, I get people say, well, I remember the lock her up chance of Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I remember that too. What we're talking about here is if you are going to violate national security laws, as Hillary Clinton did with 33,000 emails that disappeared in a private server, and the FBI has you dead to rights and still won't press charges, that is a different situation than going after free speech of President Donald Trump, which is all they've got here, particularly in the Georgia case. I don't know if the Mar-a-Lago case has any more legs to it or not, but it's certainly unprecedented under the National Records Act that you would send armed guards to raid somebody's property, for sure. All right, quick